I drop my hospital badge on the kitchen counter. I am still wearing blue scrubs after a 12-hour shift. My body hurts, but Nina will be hungry. I open the freezer and look for something fast. Chicken tenders. Frozen vegetables. Good enough, Nora. Can you come in here? Dad calls from the dining room. His voice sounds calm, but I know it means trouble. Just a minute, I answer. I put the chicken in the microwave and press 3 minutes. I start dinner for Nina, but I have to go. The microwave hums while I walk to the dining room in my compression socks. Mom and Dad sit at opposite ends of the oak table, like on Thanksgiving, or when Pastor Miller visits. Papers cover the table. Nina's wheelchair is at the side. Dad's mustache twitches when I walk in. Sit down. No hello. No how was your shift. Just the order. I sit in the last chair. Mom's face is tight, and Nina looks at her hands. What's going on? I ask, my stomach heavy with fear. Dad slides a paper to me. His ring shines under the light. Your mother and I are getting older. We need to plan for Nina's care. I read the top. Caregiver agreement. Then further down, responsible party, Nora Ann Reed. I don't understand, I say. It's simple, Mom says, soft but firm. You will cash out your 401 to make a care fund for Nina. Then you will give $2,000 every month for her expenses. The room spins. $2,000? Every month? You make $70,000 as a nurse, Dad says. That's over $4,000 a month. We're asking for half. But my student loans? My rent? Don't hide behind loans, Mom snaps. You have $60,000 in your 401. Cash it out. After taxes, you'll get at least $40,000. My hands shake. I press them on the table, trying not to feel sick. This feels sudden, I say. Nothing sudden, Dad replies. You've cared for your sister since the accident. Now it's just on paper. I look at the pages. My name appears again and again. Responsible party. Financial obligations. Legally binding. Sign today, and we'll file it tomorrow. Dad says, pushing me a pen. A memory flashes. 16-year-old me braiding Nina's hair in her hospital bed. Machines beeping. My promise, I'll always take care of you. I felt guilty then. I still do. Now Nina looks at me across the table but quickly turns away. She says nothing. Why is this all on me? My voice comes out small. We're all family. Dad's face turns hard. Because you're the reason she's in that wheelchair. The guilt cuts deep, but something else stirs inside me. A question I've never spoken. 11 years and now you want it in writing? The rule was always clear, Mom says, smoothing the tablecloth. You fed cats instead of walking Nina to the bus stop. Because of you, she lost everything. Her words hit like knives. I've heard this story thousands of times. When Nina was 14, she missed her bus because I didn't walk with her. She tried to catch it at the next stop, crossed the street without looking, and a delivery truck hit her. My fault. Always my fault. I need time to think, I say, my voice steady. Dad raises his eyebrows. There's nothing to think about. You owe this to your sister. Just a day or two, I beg. Sign now, Mom says, or we'll tell everyone at the hospital that you are abandoning your duty. Your boss at Denver Memorial, your church friends, everyone will know. The threat hangs in the air. They know I've built my whole life around what happened. The hospital staff respect me for caring for Nina. The church admires my sacrifice. You wouldn't do that, I say. Try us, Dad answers, his voice low and dangerous. Pastor Miller thinks you're almost a saint. Imagine how he'll feel when he finds out. Nina stays silent, her wheelchair like a wall between me and my parents. I pick up the pen, my hand shaking. I hold it over the paper. My future feels like it depends on one signature. Then I set the pen down. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Dad begins to speak, but I'm already on my feet, my legs weak. In my room, I lock the door and slide to the floor, shaking too hard to type a message. I scroll through my contacts and find a name I haven't called in years. The phone rings 3 times. Nora? Evelyn sounds surprised. It's been so long. Are you okay? Her worried voice breaks me. Tears spill as I try to explain. They want everything. My retirement, my paycheck. I don't know what to do. Slow down, Evelyn says in her lawyer tone. Start at the beginning. Tell me everything. Between sobs, I tell her about the papers, the threats, the pressure. She listens quietly, then asks a question that stops me cold. "Nora, have you ever seen the real police report from Nina's accident?" "No," I whisper, my mind scrambles. "I was only 16. Broken. They told me what happened. I never questioned it. What if it wasn't my fault after all?" I whisper. The coffee shop hums softly, safe and far from my parents. 3 days since their ambush, and my hands still shake around the warm mug. Steam curls upward, fading like the life I thought I had. Evelyn sits across from me, briefcase hitting the table. She looks different now. Charcoal suit, hair pulled back, eyes sharp. No longer the laughing friend with wild curls. "You look awful," she says, blunt as ever. That's the Evelyn I remember. 12-hour shifts plus avoiding my parents will do that. I try to joke, but it feels hollow. I haven't stayed at the house except to sleep since... You know, she clicks open her briefcase. I found the police report. The words hang heavy. She places a manila folder on the table. Its edges are sharp, official. Inside could be my prison or my freedom. "How bad is it?" I ask, voice small. Evelyn doesn't answer. She just opens the folder and turns it to me. "Read it yourself." The words blur at first. Location: Westridge Road, Maple, 3.8 miles from home. Time: 3:42 p.m. Vehicle: 1998 Honda motorcycle. Driver: Jason Miller, 17. Passenger: Nina Reed, 14. This can't be right. My eyes rush across the pages. It says she was on a motorcycle with a boy miles away when I was feeding the cats. "Keep reading," Evelyn says. The witness statements jump out. Female passenger laughing, arms around driver's waist. Motorcycle ran a yellow light. Delivery truck had green, but they told me she missed her bus because I wasn't there. That she was trying to catch the bus at the next stop. My throat closes on the words. "They lied, Nora," Evelyn says, her hand covering mine, warm, steady. They lied about everything. The coffee shop walls seem to tilt. 11 years of guilt, 11 years of lost dreams, of working double shifts, of apologizing every day for something I never did. Nina wasn't waiting for a bus. She was riding with her secret boyfriend. Jason Miller, Evelyn says quietly, captain of the JV basketball team. Your parents forbade her from seeing him. Too old, too wild. Remember? Memories stir, Nina whispering on the phone late at night. Strange texts, her sudden love for basketball games. I had forgotten. Buried under years of guilt. Multiple witnesses confirmed it, Evelyn says, showing me another page. Nina skipped the bus to meet Jason. They were going to the lake when they ran the light. My stomach twists. I run to the bathroom and throw up, shaking with cold sweat. In the mirror, I look pale, like a ghost made from lies. When I return, Evelyn has ordered me tea. The police report waits on the table. The hospital records, I whisper, sitting down. The ones they said I couldn't see because I was too emotional. They knew, didn't they? Evelyn nods. I spoke with the nurse who was there. Your parents started shaping the story right away, in the trauma room. While doctors worked on Nina, your father was already blaming you. The betrayal cuts like a knife. Why would they do this to me? At first money, then control, Evelyn says. She slides more papers to me. Remember your grandmother left you $20,000 when she died. 3 months after Nina's accident, your parents took it for medical expenses. But insurance covered Nina's care. A memory flashes. Me crying. Signing papers in Nina's hospital room. Dad's heavy hand on my shoulder. For your sister's future, he said. They made me delay college, I whisper. Said Nina needed me home. I worked days, took night classes, watched her between shifts. They were... And your nursing degree? Evelyn interrupts. The question hits hard. Mom said nursing made sense, that I could better care for Nina. But nursing pays much less than engineering, the career I wanted. Your starting salary would have been almost double, Evelyn says, showing me another document. My thoughts race. 11 years of manipulation. The guilt trips whenever I wanted to move out. The constant reminders of my duty. Even Nina's tearful apologies that never made sense. Until now. They planned this agreement for months, I realize. That's why they kept asking about my 401. Evelyn nods. Without your signature, they have no legal claim. They're scared. Scared of what? Losing their cash cow? Bitterness rises. That's part of it, Evelyn says carefully. I dug deeper. Your parents are drowning in debt. Second mortgage, credit cards, medical bills not covered by insurance. Your father lost his job 6 months ago. The truth doesn't soften my anger. It sharpens it. Cold. Hard. He never told me. And all those church fundraisers, all the respect he gets, it's fake. People do desperate things when they're afraid, Evelyn says. Your mother had a breakdown at the last fundraiser. Pastor Miller thought it was about Nina's condition, but it was money. The pieces fall into place with brutal clarity, and Nina, did she know? She had to, Evelyn says gently. She was 14, not 4. She remembers the accident. The deepest cut is my sister's silence. 11 years of watching me give up everything. They're not evil villains, Evelyn says, reading my face. They're scared. Without your money, they'll lose their house. They believe Nina's future depends on your sacrifice. But that doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't, I say firmly. Evelyn shuts the folder. Good news, they have no case. The time limit to file anything has long passed. And even if it had been your fault, which it wasn't, they can't demand money now. For the first time in days, hope flickers inside me. So what do? We gather more proof, Evelyn replies. She counts on her fingers. Witness statements. Nina's ex-boyfriend, your Aunt Laura, who overheard your parents at the hospital. And Jason Miller, he's still in Denver, coaches basketball at Westridge High. I remember suddenly. Yes, I've seen that. Perfect. And I know someone else. Marcus Bennett, an investigative journalist. He exposes family frauds. He's the one who reported that fake illness case last year. The weight of it all hits me. This will destroy my family. They destroyed themselves, Evelyn says softly. This isn't revenge, Nora, it's freedom. For you and for Nina. I stare at the police report, the truth hidden for 11 years. Will Nina hate me for this? She might at first. Change is scary, especially for someone who depends on others. But you don't have to face this alone anymore. You have me, Marcus, your aunt, people who want the truth. For the first time in 11 years, the heavy load on my shoulders lightens. The road is still hard, but not impossible. Okay, I say, sitting straighter. Let's do this. We gather the papers, planning our next steps. I picture my 16-year-old self crying at Nina's hospital bed, promising to care for her forever, for a crime I didn't commit. That girl deserves justice, and the woman I've become deserves freedom. We have the truth now, and truth cannot be buried again. That same day, I find Jason Miller's profile online. His life looks ordinary, wedding photos, 2 kids, a nice house. No sign of the burden I've carried. Are you sure about this? Evelyn asks. No, but I don't have a choice. I click the message button and type, "Were you with Nina the day of her accident?" Minutes later, my phone buzzes. A local number. Nora, it's Jason. I got your message. His voice is deeper, but still unsure. I've been waiting 11 years for this call. My heart races. What do you mean? I've carried this guilt for years, he says quickly. Nina begged me not to tell anyone she was on my motorcycle. She wouldn't wear a helmet, said it would ruin her hair for a party. Then the crash happened. The world tilts. I grab the table to steady myself. Your parents came while you were getting coffee, Jason continues. They told me if I ever said Nina was with me, they'd charge me with endangering a minor. I was 17, terrified. When they blamed you and the cats, I just went along. Why are you telling me now? I ask, my voice shaking. Because it's eating me alive. And my wife saw your message. She's told me for years I need to confess. He pauses. Nina knows I'm calling you. We've stayed in touch. My sister knew. All this time, she knew. Will you sign a statement about what really happened? I ask. I'm already writing it, Jason says. I'll get it notarized tomorrow. After I hang up, Evelyn squeezes my shoulder. One more piece of proof. Now let's call your Aunt Laura. Aunt Laura's story comes out fast, like she has been waiting years to say it. I was bringing flowers to Nina's room, she says, voice shaking. I heard your parents in the hallway. Your mother said, "Don't let anyone know she was with that boy." We'll say Nora was supposed to walk her to the bus. And your father said, Nora's always responsible. She'll believe it was her fault. Laura starts to cry. I should have spoken up. I'm so sorry, Nora. By Sunday afternoon, I have what I need. I go home while Nina is at physical therapy with her weekend caregiver. The living room feels smaller. I hold the police report in my hand. Dad looks up from his newspaper, frowning. What's going on? I know the truth, I say, my voice steady. The crash was miles from the bus stop. Nina was on Jason's motorcycle. Dad's face turns pale. His hands grip the chair. Mom speaks first. We were protecting Nina from scandal. You were old enough to handle the responsibility. She says it like it is normal, as if hurting one daughter to protect the other is fine. You made me believe I ruined Nina's life, I say quietly. They both flinch. I carried that guilt for 11 years. Dad leans forward. It doesn't change your duty to your sister. I never abandoned Nina, and I never will, I answer, from a strong place inside me that I have not felt in years. But I'm not signing those papers. Not tomorrow, not ever. I turn and walk out back straight, head high. The door closes with a soft click that feels final. Evelyn waits in her car. Her eyes widen. You look 10 pounds lighter. I start to cry. Tears of release, not pain. It worked, I say between sobs. They admitted everything. This is just the start, Evelyn says, driving away. We're going to set things right. My phone buzzes. A text from Aunt Laura. My guest room is ready whenever you need it. I should have spoken up years ago. Then Marcus calls. I checked your parents' finances. There's evidence they used your money to pay their mortgage, not just Nina's care. This is a classic family fraud case. As we leave the house where guilt held me for more than a decade, I watch it shrink in the mirror. I ask myself, push forward now, or give them time to confess? The answer is clear. No more time. No more lies. I need to talk to Nina when she returns from therapy. She must know I found the truth, and that I don't blame her for staying silent. We were both victims in different ways. It's time to be free. Monday morning, I sip cold coffee and stare at the whiteboard in Evelyn's office. A timeline covers the wall, 11 years of control written in blue marker. Each sticky note marks a time my parents used my guilt to take money, time, or support. We need to predict their next move, Evelyn says, capping her marker. Her calm voice steadies me. They won't give up just because you showed them the report. The lights hum above us. I force myself to look at the board like a nurse on duty. Assess, find risks, make a plan. Martin always hits back when he's cornered, I say, pointing to the notes from 2018 and 2021. Here, when I asked why Grandma's money went to Nina's treatments, Dad told Pastor Miller I was becoming bitter about my Christian duty. And here, when I tried to move into my own apartment, he said Nina had a setback and needed 24-hour care. Marcus walks in with a heavy stack of folders. He drops them on the table with a thump. His reporter skills have been invaluable this past week. You were right about the money, he says, opening the first folder. I compared what you gave them with Nina's actual medical bills over the last 5 years. Less than 40% went to her care. My stomach twists as I read the spreadsheets. Where did the rest go? Mortgage payments, credit cards, and even a fishing boat they bought 3 years ago, Marcus explains. He points to a highlighted line. And look here, payments for a Florida timeshare since 2020. The betrayal burns, but I push it aside. This isn't just about hurt feelings anymore. It's fraud. We'll build this case like a patient safety investigation, I say, leaning on my professional training. Documents, patterns, witness statements. Evelyn nods. Exactly. Emotional arguments won't work with manipulators this skilled. We have to dismantle their control step by step. For hours, we organize everything with military precision. Jason's written statement about the accident and the threats from my parents. Financial. Records showing stolen money. Medical records proving. Treatments were billed but never happened. Calm focus settles over me. For years I faced my family with guilt and fear. Now I see it like a complex patient case. Marcus taps his pen. The insurance claims are troubling. They filed for equipment Nina never got. That could be insurance fraud. I spoke with 3 of your co-workers at Denver Memorial, Evelyn adds. They gave statements about your exhaustion. Dr. Harriman said he's seen you fall asleep standing during 12-hour shifts after staying up all night with Nina. The office phone rings, startling me. Evelyn answers. Her face hardens. Yes, she's here, I see. We'll review it. She hangs up and turns to us. Your parents hired Patricia Lambert. Marcus frowns. The family support attorney? That's serious, Evelyn nods. My assistant just received a demand letter. They claim you have a moral duty and threaten to petition for guardianship of Nina if you don't pay. My hands shake. Patricia Lambert is known for aggressive lawsuits. Fear surges through me. Can they really take Nina? No, Evelyn says firmly. They just want to scare you. But a legal fight could drain your savings. Marcus watches me. You okay? I breathe deeply. Marcus enters with another folder. I found something, he says, laying down a document. Your parents took out a second mortgage 6 months ago, using your signature. My stomach knots. I never signed anything. Exactly, Marcus replies. It's a forgery. The bank's examiner confirmed it. Evelyn adds it to the binder. This isn't just manipulation. It's a crime. I stare at the forged signature, recognizing Dad's heavy writing style even in his lies. I filed a restraining order against your parents, Evelyn says. That should stop their harassment while we prepare. The whiteboard behind her shows our timeline. 11 years of lies reduced to arrows and bullet points. Seeing it this way clears the fog in my mind. Nina's medical records were the last piece, I say, tapping the folder. Half the treatments they claimed at fundraisers never happened. The therapy center has no record of the sessions they bragged about. Marcus whistles. This isn't just family drama. It's financial fraud. We're not just exposing a lie, I say, my voice steady. We're dismantling a decade of fraud. My phone buzzes. Hospital administration, I answer. This is Nora Reed. Miss Reed, this is Melissa from HR. We need you immediately. Serious allegations about your conduct. Cold spreads through me. What allegations? Your father called our ethics hotline. He claims you've been stealing medications to sell for profit. The air leaves my lungs. I put the call on speaker for Evelyn and Marcus. I'll be there in 30 minutes, I manage before hanging up. They're escalating, Evelyn says, already gathering documents. They know we're investigating, so they're attacking your career. Marcus shakes his head. It's desperate. They want you to back down. I need to face this now, I say, grabbing my credentials. The hospital has cameras. The truth will clear me. I'll come with you, Evelyn says. 2 hours later, I sit with my supervisor, Janet, while security checks the logs. Slowly, my tension eases as Janet reviews the files. These allegations are false, she says firmly. Your record is spotless, Nora. I'm sorry about your family. Outside, Evelyn squeezes my hand. You handled it perfectly, professional and calm. Nothing like the panic they expected. Should I confront them now? I ask, watching sunlight flash on the hospital windows, or wait until our case is complete. The next morning, we meet in Evelyn's office for the final strategy session. The binders stand ready, documents tagged and indexed. Marcus has built a multimedia timeline of the lies. I've contacted everyone who saw their manipulation, Marcus reports. Former neighbors, church members, even Nina's doctors who heard different stories about her care. The evidence is ready, every paper labeled and in order. The police report lies in the center, proof I was never allowed to see. This is everything? Evelyn asks. Yes, I say. Jason's statement, Nina's false medical records, bank records showing where my money really went. Marcus enters with another folder. I found something. Your parents applied for a second mortgage 6 months ago using your signature. My stomach tightens. I never signed that. Exactly. It's a forgery. The bank confirmed it. Evelyn nods. That makes it criminal. I study Dad's fake signature, heavy and controlling even in fraud. I filed a restraining order, Evelyn adds. That should keep them back while we finish. The whiteboard shows 11 years of lies. Seeing it mapped out clears the fog in my mind. This isn't just family drama, I say. It's fraud, and we're dismantling it. Wednesday arrives. The doorbell rings as I smooth my navy slacks. A text from Evelyn flashes. We're in position. Stay calm. Relatives gather in the living room. Mom leads them to the dining room, now set like a tribunal. Extra chairs, water glasses, notepads. Dad stands at the head in his Sunday suit. "Thank you for coming," he begins, voice practiced. "This is difficult, but family problems require family solutions." Around the table sit Uncle Robert, Aunt Patricia, Aunt Grace, 2 church elders, Pastor Miller with his Bible, and a silver-haired lawyer. Nina sits silently, eyes down. Dad continues. "For those who don't know, Nora has been responsible for Nina since the accident 11 years ago. Recently, she has abandoned that responsibility." Gasps ripple through the room. "That's not true," I say, but Dad raises his hand. "Please let me finish." His voice drips with false sadness. "Martin's health problems made full-time work impossible." Another lie, he was fired. Mom opens a binder. "These are bills from just the last 6 months. Without Nora's help, Nina's therapy will stop." Another lie, insurance covers it. "Nora makes $70,000 a year," Dad adds, eyes fake teary. "We're only asking for $2,000 a month. She also has retirement savings for a care fund." Uncle Robert looks at me with disappointment. "How could you do this to your sister?" The room closes in, their lies pressing down. Pastor Miller clears his throat. "Maybe Christian mediation would help. Nora, your sister needs you." The lawyer slides a paper across the table. "This is the caregiver agreement. Sign it and Nina's needs will be met." Every eye turns to me. This is their plan. Public pressure, moral judgment, no way out. Nina stays silent, which makes it look like she agrees. My phone vibrates. The signal. I rise. My voice is steady. "Before anyone signs anything, I'd like to introduce someone." The doorbell rings. Mom frowns. "Who is that?" "My attorney," I say, watching her pale, "and a journalist who's been helping me uncover what really happened 11 years ago." Dad's hand tightens on his pen. "This is a private family matter." "It stopped being private when you brought in the church elders and a lawyer," I reply. I open the door. Evelyn enters, professional and calm. Marcus follows, recorder visible. Behind them comes Aunt Laura, Mom's youngest sister, who worked at the hospital when Nina was admitted. "What is she doing here?" Mom demands. "Supporting the truth," Aunt Laura answers, standing by me. Pastor Miller looks confused as Evelyn speaks. "I'm Evelyn Carter, attorney for Nora Reed. You've been discussing an agreement under false pretenses." "This is absurd." Dad sputters, his composure cracking. "Nina has been paralyzed 11 years because Nora failed to walk her to the bus." "Everyone knows the story." "That's the story you told," I say calmly. "But it's not the truth, is it?" Marcus sets his recorder on the table. "Martin and Diane Reed. I'm Marcus Bennett with the Denver Chronicle. I've been investigating your finances regarding Nina's care." Mom's face twists with rage. "How dare you bring strangers into our home to attack us after everything we've..." Marcus speaks quietly to me. "I have everything I need for a full story on family fraud." I kneel beside Nina's wheelchair. "I never abandoned you. I just couldn't live with the lies anymore." Nina grips my hand, tears streaming. I knew it was wrong but was too scared. "Can you forgive me?" I hug her trembling shoulders. "There's nothing to forgive. We were both victims." Elder Peterson clears his throat. "The church board will investigate the use of donated funds." Evelyn steps forward. "And let me be clear. Nora has never had a legal duty to support Nina." Pastor Miller nods. "From now on, the church will make sure any support for Nina is handled properly." My parents stand alone, seen clearly for the first time. Mom clutches her purse. Dad holds his keys. "I think we're done here," Dad mutters. They leave without goodbyes. The door shuts. The weight of 11 years lifts from me. Nina squeezes my hand. "What happens now?" I look around at Evelyn, Marcus, Aunt Laura, and Pastor Miller. "Now," I say, "we start over, with the truth." Sunlight catches Nina's tears, shining with hope instead of shame. I unlock the door to Nina's new apartment. She wheels herself inside, eyes wide. Sunlight pours across the hardwood floor. The space is modest but fully accessible. Low counters, wide doors, a large bathroom. "Is this really mine?" Nina asks, her voice full of wonder. All yours, I say, setting down a box. The insurance settlement covered a year's rent and all the modifications. Nina wheels through the apartment, shoulders straighter than before. Dad called last night, she says at the window. He sounds desperate. They should be, I answer. Pastor Miller told me the church board started investigating the misused funds, and there are the insurance fraud charges too. Nina nods, her face full of mixed emotions. 11 years of lies unraveling in weeks. My phone buzzes with a text from Evelyn. Guardianship papers approved. I show Nina. No more intercepted checks. Your benefits will be managed properly. She smiles. Have you been sleeping? She asks. Actually, yes. 8 hours, no guilt-filled dreams. How about you? I keep waking up thinking I have to report to them. Then I remember I don't. She laughs, a sound I'd almost forgotten. Yesterday I applied for disability benefits. The ones they said I'd never qualify for. The ones they told you needed my support? Exactly. Turns out I've been eligible for 10 years. I open a box marked kitchen. I enrolled in the nurse practitioner program. Nina's eyes widen. The one you always wanted? Yes, I start next semester. Without $2,000 leaving my account every month, I can afford tuition and an apartment near campus. Golden light fills the room as we unpack. Then 3 nurses from my unit arrive with food and boxes. Marcia, our charge nurse, hugs me tight. We made a schedule to help Nina while you're in class. Everyone signed up. Nina cries as she accepts their support. I never knew how many people cared. After everyone leaves, Nina and I sit together on her patio as the evening settles. Crickets chirp from the garden below. Her apartment feels nothing like our parents' house. No heaviness, no fear of making mistakes, no constant guilt. For years I thought caring meant carrying everyone's burdens, I say, watching a hummingbird fly between flowers Marcia brought. Now I see it means helping people stand on their own. Nina takes my hand. I should have told you the truth years ago. We were both trapped, just in different ways. I stand in Denver Memorial's Trauma Center, leading orientation for new nurses. My scrubs are the same blue, but my life is completely different. I have a small apartment filled with plants and books. My student loans are under control. Most of all, the weight on my chest is gone. Remember, I tell the new nurses, your first duty is to your patients. Sometimes that means standing up to family members who claim they know best. After work, I drive to Nina's apartment for dinner. She's learned to cook from her wheelchair, and the smell of lasagna fills the air. How's your online program? I ask. 3 A's so far, she says proudly. The disability advocacy course is my favorite. I'm helping 2 families deal with the same system our parents misused. We eat at her table, planning the future instead of reliving the past. When she mentions our parents' latest attempt at reconciliation, I don't feel my usual anxiety. I told them the same thing I always do, I say. I'll consider a relationship when they take full responsibility and make amends. Nina nods. They still talk about forgiveness without admitting what they did. That's their choice, I reply, eating another bite. I don't need permission to live my own life anymore. On the anniversary of the confrontation, Nina and I go to the park where I used to feed stray cats. Leaves crunch under her wheels as I push her to the clearing where the feeding station once stood. Remember when I couldn't even look at cats without feeling guilty? I ask. Nina laughs. And now we're building a support network for families with spinal cord injuries. The Reed Sisters Foundation started last month, funded by the insurance settlement with our parents. We've already helped 3 families avoid financial exploitation, paying for home changes and legal support. That evening, we attend Nina's physical therapy celebration. She shows her progress by moving from her wheelchair to the treatment table on her own. The room applauds. When asked to speak, she wheels to the center. The hardest burden wasn't my paralysis, she tells the group. It was the lies. Watching her speak so strong, I feel complete. The truth freed us, and it showed who really stood by us, not our parents, but the community that believed us. As we leave, Nina asks, do you ever wonder what would have happened if Evelyn hadn't asked about the police report? I think about it. The truth would have come out eventually. It was too big to stay buried. What would you do if you discovered a family member had been lying to you for years? Would you confront them directly or gather evidence first?